Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain. Welcome to my channel and welcome aboard our flight today flying from Johannesburg to destination Addis Ababa. On this flight, we're going to explore two interesting events. One happens on the ground during the taxi phase and the second happens after departure. We are at the OR Tambo International Airport. The ground electrical is connected. The aero bridge is going to connect as we speak. I'm looking at the fuel figures and the fuel figure says 15.5. I've told the fuel truck I need 15.5. 15.5 is on board. The fuel truck is going away and we are loading passenger cargo and bags. In the meanwhile, I have my air traffic clearance. I'm in the cockpit again. Route uplink is done. I'm gonna set my departure. So as per the air traffic clearance, the departure today is for runway 21 right and the SID is Vasur 3 Bravo. The same has been entered in FMC and validated and matching with the EFB chart as well. Final load sheet numbers are here. Calculation is done. I'm entering the value in FMC and setting the same on the MCP window. While all this being done, the most important part of the flight is here. Catering, food, yes. And today, as per the catering staff, the menu for the cockpit is salmon with mashed potato and chicken with rice. Drop in your comments. Let me know which is your favorite meal. We are almost ready now for our flight. I'm going to go ahead and start the APU. Once the APU is started, I'm going to disconnect the ground electrical. I'm going to finish my before start scan and checklist and instruct the ground crew to be fully ready for push. While all this is being done at the moment, it is a good idea for you to go ahead and press the like button and press the subscribe button if you already haven't done that. Here we are in the pushback phase of flight. Once the pushback is done, we will be starting both our engines. Once the engines are started and stabilized, we'll have the ground crew disconnect the ground equipment, and once that is done, we are going to do a before taxi scan, set of flaps and the before taxi checklist. Once that is done, we're going to request ATC for our taxi clearance. As per the clearance today, I'm going to record that in the flight plan. Our taxi is to hold short of position alpha. Now while I'm taxiing to position alpha, ATC calls us back and says, hey, there's going to be a runway change. So ATC is going to give us a new clearance, and the new clearance is going to be Vasur 3 Alpha, and rest of the clearance is going to be the same for runway 03 left. Once you have the new clearance by ATC, it'll be a good idea to bring the airplane to a stop or request ATC for a place to stop depending on the traffic. Some airplanes have a specific procedure while others do the same by memory. I'm going to quickly scroll through the NOTAMs to make sure it does not affect my departure today in any way with performance or any other restriction. Then I'm going to scan my chart, make sure the chart is correct. Then come to the FMC, select the correct runway, select the correct chart. But once that is done, I will not execute this because I need to validate this information from the chart again. I'm back on my chart. Vasur 3 Alpha is the same as what's in the legs. I'm going to execute that now. Once that is done, back to the performance tool OPT. Select the correct runway 03 left, enter all the winds and information with the weight, have the computation ready. Now insert the takeoff performance data in the FMC with temperature, flaps and speed. Set the same into the MCP panel, set the runway heading for 03 left, and if there is a change in the altitude for Vasur 3 Alpha, I will set the same in the MCP panel. After that, I will verify the flaps are the same for the new performance and set the trim as well. As I mentioned earlier, some airlines have a departure runway change checklist. This would be a good time to systematically run through the checklist to make sure none of the actions were missed out. And once we are ready, we can inform ATC and be on our way. If you do a Google search on runway change checklist, you will get a lot of images freely available online, and this is one such image. We've got a clearance to line up for 03 left. We're gonna line up on the runway and do a normal takeoff. After takeoff, as we are climbing and cleaning up through 1000 feet, we have a malfunction. The malfunction is engine. Identify the malfunction. So it's a severe damage. So we do the memory items, auto throttle, thrust lever, engine start lever, and engine fire switch. So this is a good time to announce Mayday to air traffic controller and also advise him of your intention. My intention is to go straight ahead on runway heading at about 25 miles and make a right hand pattern. I'm going to clean up the airplane now and then I will proceed with the checklist. So let's call for engine severe damage or separation checklist. Memory items, done. Am I in flight? Yes. Is there a high airframe vibration? No. Go to step number 9. Isolation valve switch close. Back switch affected side off. APU bleed off. And then choose if APU is available. It's available, APU start, and balance fuel as needed. Transponder mode selector to TA only. And now we review. So we took off. We had an engine severe damage. We have informed air traffic controller. We are doing a right hand hold. We are going to complete all our checklist, our procedures, and now this is a time when we need to take a decision. So let's use the clear model for decision making. Clarify the problem. The problem is engine failure. Land at nearest suitable airport. And yes, we are overweight as well, so it will be an overweight landing. Look for options. The options are Johannesburg. We took off from Johannesburg, and to verify if we can land, we'll have to run the performance and make sure if this option that we've chosen is suitable and adequate. Once that is done, we act. I'm going to enter the numbers, the minimums, and all the performance calculations in the FMC. Build the approach in the FMC, and once the approach is set, then verify it with the approach chart as well. R stands for review. Now let's review this. Engine failure, plan to land at nearest suitable airport. We checked the performance is good. We also made sure the FMC is set and programmed for us to land. Now we are landing back to Johannesburg, which is a high altitude airport, and now the temperature is 30. So what changes when you are landing at a high altitude airport? Because of a density, lower density, you will anticipate or you will experience higher true airspeed. Your rate of descent will be higher for the same profile, and your flare technique will have to be a little different from the normal flare technique so that you don't come faster towards the ground and you flare at the correct height as well. Also now you need to consider about brakes. Okay, we have to manage brake energy with proper use of flaps, auto brakes, reverse thrust, and we know that we are on single engine, so we have just one reverse thrust, so that is also some consideration that we need to take while we're discussing this. So let's call the cabin crew, give her a briefing. So cabin crew, we're gonna tell her engine failure, that's a problem. We are going to land in the next 10 minutes, and as of now there are no specials, but once we land, if there's something comes up, we will communicate to her. Then we'll call the passengers and we're going to tell them that we are not going to Addis Ababa for sure, we're landing back, so due to an engine malfunction we're returning back, everything is safe, and we're going to land as soon as possible. And this is a place where I took the bold decision of disconnecting the autopilot. I'm flying on a joystick, so I don't have a yoke or a rudder pedal, so I tried my best to land this airplane. As you can see on the approach, while I flared, I was on the left of the center line, and then after landing I corrected and I stopped the airplane safe. I hope you enjoyed this video. So we discussed two events. One was runway change, and the second one was landing after an engine failure on a high elevation airport and after a single engine with overweight landing. Put in your comments, let me know what you think about the video. And if you would have done anything differently, I would learn from you. I'd be happy to do that. And yes, if by now you haven't pressed the like and the subscribe button, please do that. And I will see you on the next flight. This is a captain. Thank you and see you again. Bye bye.